Hey guys, if you're not the type to plan, prep, and cook a delicious home-cooked meal, HelloFresh is just for you. You don't have to eat like a 20-year-old anymore with HelloFresh. You're going to get mouth-watering, seasonal recipes and fresh, pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. Their step-by-step recipes are super easy to follow, and pre-portioned ingredients help cut down on prep time. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. And they have made cooking at home fun, easy, and affordable. My family's been using HelloFresh for the past month, and the meals are amazing. Last night, we had beef tenderloin with balsamic tomatoes. Guys, it was delicious. No matter what is going on in your world, you gotta eat. So why not give HelloFresh a try? Use my link or go to HelloFresh.com. Use the promo code POGCHAEL-June16. That will get you up to 16 free meals, plus 3 surprises that will be spread out over 6 HelloFresh boxes plus free shipping. All right, let's rethink Glover versus Prochazka, right? Sometimes it's always best to do that. Put a couple of days in between. How you feeling after the fact? And it is amazing what short-term memories we have. I mean, it really is. It's epic how quickly you can forget things. Let me give you an example. Here was a headline today with the kids on the forum. Was Prochazka exposed? Now, that's a hell of a thing to say. When a guy just got done winning the world championship, proving he was the best on earth, and even in defeat, was he exposed? Now, the other side of the coin is the kids on the underground are pretty damn smart, aren't they? Because there was some spots in there that you weren't expecting Jiri to be such a fish out of water. I mean, in all fairness, the way that he got taken down with that opening single leg, by example, I don't think if you see that and you come to the conclusion he's poor at wrestling, I don't agree. That was a weird takedown. It was weird the way Glover set it up, and he grabbed the leg and he just gained elevation. And all of a sudden, you're losing your balance, and he hit him with it 2 or 3 more times in the night, and Jiri was hitting somersaults, but as he hit somersaults, he didn't spring up to his feet. He hit a somersault, and then he stopped on his knees, and now Glover's on his back again. It's one of these things where you wouldn't expect the greatest guy on earth to have such a weakness that he can be taken down with a single leg, even if it's a weird single leg. Even if the technique was a little bit catch you off guard. To hit a somersault and stop on your knees and let a guy jump on your back, it's like when you have that motion going, why don't you come right onto your feet? Now, I'm not giving him a hard time. I'm attempting to see it from the eyes and the lens of the person and group of people that chose to support the topic on the underground. That's all I'm doing. And we've seen a number of great fighters that have been put somewhere and they just don't know what to do. You remember Adesanya, his first fight, but it was with Marvin Vettori, and that's what was shown. Okay, get him down and you can keep him there. Now, Adesanya agreed with that, which is why he fixed that immediately. But it's still fair, and it's just an example that I bring to you. Is that what happened with Prochazka? Is this a matter of get him in there with a great wrestler? Because it was really hard to watch Prochazka fight. Glover, too, for that matter. But it was really hard to watch that fight and just appreciate that fight. How would Jiri do in this moment with Glover? How would Glover do in this moment with Jiri? It's really hard. You end up juxtaposing it. Whatever you know about Ankalaev, which is probably very limited, whatever you know about Anthony Smith, which is everything, what would happen if Jon Jones came in? How's Blachowicz, who's sitting in the front row, going to do? What about Rethink when he gets here? Like, it's hard to watch those fight and not be thinking about that. But if you just stay in that moment, you just stay where that fight was, and yes, Prochazka got himself in some positions that you would think the world's best fighter would know what to do, but at the end of the day, if you want to tell the story accurately, he survived them all. I mean, that was equally as impressive. The fact that he had that window opened, right? This is not a sport about I punch you, you punch me. I try to choke you, you try to choke me. That's how it's presented to the audience. The boys in the locker room that have done the sport know full well, are you going to quit before you make me quit? Or can I make you quit? For that's all we're doing out here. And so to watch Prochazka in such precarious positions with such an absolute stud like Glover Teixeira is sitting on top of his chest. Imagine this is you. You're tired. The world's watching. You now have Glover Teixeira. He's fully got you mounted. You're bleeding above your eye to the point that the doctors even had to look at it a couple times. The referee is speaking to you saying, if you don't get something going, I'm going to stop the fight. And Glover's elbowing you. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, you survive the position. Now imagine that happens to you 4 more times, and the only thing different in those next 3 is you're more fatigued. The cut above your eye is more blood. You want to quit more. You've already done a better job. He never walked through that window. Jiri Prochazka. That's why he's the champion of the world right now. He's not the champion because of that awkward striking. Not the champion because of his ponytail. He's not the champion because he's a younger guy. He's a champion because when he was presented with the opportunity to quit, and quit like a warrior, go out with absolute bravado and pride, nobody's going to question you. When he was presented with that option 7 different times, he said no. That's why he's the champion of the world. It's a very fascinating thing to give a guy like that a hard time. And I'm not ready to concede that there was a style, right? If Jon Jones gets on top of you one time, you were different when you get up. Whether you did it on your own and you scrambled to your feet or you made it till the bell and the referee brought what if Jon Jones gets on top of you one time, you were different. But the same can be said for Glover Teixeira, and Jiri was different. It's just he wasn't worse. Now, those are very interesting spots, guys. Can I share the hardest I ever had to work? Hardest I ever had to work, I'm at the University World Championships. Biggest tournament I had ever been part of at this point in my life. And I draw this guy from Estonia. And we go the entire distance, but you used to have 3 points or the match would continue. So we go the duration, and then we've got to go 3 more minutes. Nobody scored. It was 1-0. 1-0 my favor when we go into overtime. 1-0 my favor when the whole thing ends. I win the match. Great. Kicks me off on the right track. I end up finding myself in the finals. Well, this guy from Estonia comes to the backside. I've got him in the finals. The way the bracketing used to work, you could do that. You could lose and still reach the final. It's called a cross bracket. But the bottom line is I now have this guy. I had never worked so hard in my life up until that point, before I met Clayton Hires. But I had never worked as hard as I did in that 9-minute match. And I knew going into that match with him, my father was very excited. My God, you're going to be world champion. I know you can beat this guy because I watched you beat him yesterday at 9 a.m. But inside I knew I had reached a point of exhaustion in that match that I didn't want to go back to. And I was trying to talk myself into, it's okay, get just as tired, get more tired, but you're so vulnerable and you feel so weak. It is such a scary moment when you're at absolute exhaustion that I knew inside I don't want to reach that point. And reaching that point is what it took to beat him yesterday at 9 a.m. And it was one of those things, and I went out and I had to deal with it. I'm just sharing with you that I recall it. And it is relevant for Jiri Prochazka. You will see a lot of guys win world championships, they lose their very next match. You see guys win a world championship, it'll be a record if he can defend it 2 or 3 times. Why wouldn't you be able to defend it? You beat 5 guys on your comeuppance to get there. You then took out the best guy. All you got to do is go out and duplicate. Why do guys go down? What is the dip? Is they get too big for their britches? Is it because they've achieved their goal and are not as hungry and just as motivated? Well, that's a little part of it. But the part that you don't know and that you don't see is to get to that point of grabbing that championship, they generally had to push themselves to limits they had never done it before. And you are very fortunate to be naive. Not knowing what you don't know is wildly helpful in sport. But once you discover it, even if you got your hand raised, it turns into one of these moments, I don't want to return to that. Now, there's a couple of ways to deal with it. One is I'm going to work even harder in the gym. Whatever that wall is that I've got, I'm going to push it out even further. I'm going to eat better nutrition, better sleep, all these different things. But you do top out. So it is if Jiri Prochazka had to do a rematch, whether it was with Glover or somebody else, but he had to reach that point again, is he going to welcome it? Is he going to embrace it? Or is he going to go, man, that was too much. That was the fight of my life. I'm the champion. I reached my dream. I don't want to go back. He can't just give us that answer. Jiri will hear this and go, my goodness, Chael's right. I thought that was only me, but he can't just tell us the answer. It's a tough one. Nobody can just tell you. They don't know how they're going to respond. But now they have had something revealed to them, which is known as a breaking point. Glover Teixeira, same thing. Can't think of a fight he's ever quit. I've seen people stop him, but I've never seen him go, okay, I've had enough. I'm exhausted and I can't go anymore. And then we saw that on Saturday. So what do you do? What do you do? I think it's obvious. You rematch. Anthony Smith versus Uncle I has been named the #1 contender. And Anthony Smith has spoken up on behalf of his own fight with Uncle I and said, whoa, just a second on this rematch business. We've already been named. Look at us. Anthony's right. We do both. We do an immediate rematch with Prochazka and Glover. The winner of Anthony and Uncle I waits in the wings, takes on that winner. I think that we can do both. I don't think we have to take anything away from the pending fight between Lionheart and Uncle I at all. That is the #1 contenders match. We have the title fight we're going to do, but here's our #1 contenders match. There's a way to do both. I'm not going to get my way. This isn't going to happen. They're highly unlikely to run out that rematch, but I don't know why you want it. If what you're searching for is the two top guys in the world, and that's what you want to go and contest, it feels as though we found them. It was an amazing fight. I mean, I will tell you, I'm still high on the excitement. I barely even slept last night because the fight fan in because I'm so excited. Can you guys relate to that? I mean, it was something so special to see those moments, to see those different positions, see Prochazka overcome, to see Glover Teixeira overcome and push through. And now we're armed, in fact, with the judges' official scorecards. I spoke to you guys right after the fight, and I told you I haven't seen the scorecards, but my feeling is Glover no longer had to beat his opponent. He just had to beat the clock. That was my feeling. He's got this locked up. He had 3 rounds going in to the last round, of which I think he was winning the last round. That, of course, can change. And my only point to you is those scorecards came out, and sure enough, 2 of the 3 judges had it 3 rounds to 1. Glover had the fight won. I think it's very hard to be confronted with that evidence. Not only a wonderful fight, but to be confronted with the evidence that the guy who didn't win was about to. If we're acknowledging one as the world champion, significant of the 12-pound gold belt he's got, if the other guy was just about to beat him, wouldn't that make him the number 1 contender? I mean, just proxy. Wouldn't it seem like you don't need to go into a rankings meeting? You don't need to have a rules committee get together. Wouldn't it just seem, based on that logic, this is the champion and he was just about to lose? It would seem as though you found your number 1 contender. We'll see where it goes. I don't have a dog in this race. I just feel like if I don't come out and speak up on behalf of Glover and praise both of these guys for an amazing match, I just feel like we're not doing our job, right? We owe these guys something. This show's free. They go out and gave us great entertainment. They'd had our $50 anyway, whether it was a great fight or a dud of a fight. Either way, everybody leaves the same, but they chose to give us something very epic. We have some level of obligation back. I do think Smith and Ankalaev is the right number 1 contenders fight. I just am submitting for you guys. We do the rematch and we do the winner of Smith Ankalaev. We do both.